Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Happy to be here today to tell you about some very exciting things that are happening. The legal and regulatory update that we're providing you with today will give you a full view into exactly what work we've been doing with the central bank in Bahrain and with the regulatory authorities at FinTech Bay. Our friends there, as we've mentioned them previously, have been extremely helpful. And they deserve all the credit in the world. So without further ado, let's get into it. The current progress, first slide, of course. We'll talk about kind of how we got here, what we have accomplished, and how it's going. Of course, the required regulatory approvals are in. We have licenses for basically everything that we do in Bahrain, and we now have an exchange license for NFTs. The NFT licensing is a simpler one than a full-fledged exchange for all types of digital assets. However, that also is something that we'll be discussing, and it's something that we're pursuing. So now that we have the required regulatory approvals and licensing, we can begin our work, our very important work there. There are only a few other organizations with such licenses, so we're really happy to be there. And in fact, I'm here all the time, but the new thing is that this will become our headquarters. And so FinTech Bay is a really great organization. I don't think we've told you much about them in the past. Basically, FinTech Bay is a kind of an incubator for smaller companies. In our case, that's not necessary. However, doing the setup and getting everything aligned in terms of regulatory approvals, licensing, and everything else has been something that they helped us with. And they've been, really, really great partners to work with. And so wanted to, mention that. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but it's super important. So on to the next slide. We've got in terms of our value propositions, obviously, we're the only fully regulated DeFi platform with approval from an actual governmental authority, right? And this is globally, right? So you can go ahead, you can do all the research, you can look around and get back to us, but we haven't found another one, right? What we did find are a bunch of organizations out there. Let's just name a few names, right? We know Voyager, right? We know Celsius. We know about so many projects out there, the Luna business, all of this stuff that's been going on. We found a whole bunch of organizations. Obviously, I don't even know how they're licensed or where they're licensed or if they have any licenses at all. And you know how that went, right? So we're doing exactly the opposite. Nimbus has also embarked upon the process to become a centralized exchange, a CEX. Exactly. And that's what we talked about last time in our last live stream. So being a centralized exchange, that will not only be for our tokens, but, a whole range of digital assets. And so the reason that's really important is because it'll make us one of the only ones that will also allow self-custody. So what's really cool about it is you'll still have your assets at your fingertips in your own wallet, but you'll have the protection and the more secure platform to work on, the centralized exchange. And this will obviously make people a lot more comfortable having the assets at their disposal and being able to access them at any time. As a result, we will again be the only company in the world to make this happen. So there are a number of firsts, and there are so many things going on. They say it a lot, and I truly, truly believe it. Nothing beats hard work. So, expansion of presence, right? As I was saying, we're working hard. We've got a lot of great people behind you, the community, and we are trying to do what's in everyone's best interest, obviously. And we found that the best place to actually locate is actually the Kingdom of Bahrain. So we have done that. We're relocating. And the company is basically we're going to offer our blockchain and DApp expertise and allow for integration with different banks and financial institutes, right? There are literally hundreds of banks and family offices and all kinds of financial organizations that are set up here in Bahrain, and for good reason. Obviously, as I told you, the organizations found it very easy to do business here, right? So Bahrain is called business friendly. It's known as business friendly Bahrain. That's an actual term that's been put out there. It was on CNN a lot. There was a lot of advertising around it and so on. And generally, whenever I talk to someone, especially from outside the region, and it comes up, they always say business friendly Bahrain, right? And it's such a perfect way to describe it because that's exactly what's going on. And the major focus is now on unlocking the full value of the platform's intellectual property, right? We have built so many different apps and we have so many things that are actually running, smart contracts that work, right? Versus these companies, back during the great days of the bull run last year and so on, into the beginning of this year even. Everybody was saying, we have smart contracts now and we have a DApp, right? We got a lot of DApps, a whole bunch of them. And they all work. They've been debugged. We don't need a proof of concept because you, the community, have been using them already for many, many months and years. And so we have all of these multiple solutions that we can offer now as a service provider, if you will, as an integrator. And we can also co-develop things with the other companies out here. It's just a really great place for us right now. And that's good for you too as a community. So the actions in the field of licensing, basically, we're very close to finishing the exchange licensing. And that means basically you'll be able to buy and sell and trade all kinds of things. Now, remember, digital assets can cover a lot of stuff, right? Real world stuff and traditional digital assets. So think about that. So once we have completed the process, basically we'll be able to unlock all of these partnerships we've been signing and all of this work that's been going on behind the scenes. Again, nothing beats hard work. And we have a lot of people and they've been working very, very hard. And so you, the community, should be extremely happy and pleased. You've made an excellent choice. To be part of our community is an excellent choice. And basically we're working to become a fully fledged and regulated crypto asset service provider. And that's the name of the license. Currently, there are only, as far as I know, 3 other service providers with this specific type of license. Obviously, there are some very big names out here, and there are some smaller ones, local companies and regional companies and so on. So we will join the ranks of the globally known organizations that have this licensing, and we're really proud. We're really happy about it. We're finally at that stage where we can discuss it, and it's not something that we're still working on or we're somehow unsure about or anything like that, right? So read my lips. We're doing it, okay? So be very happy about that. I know we are. So we also have, obviously, in terms of the NFTs that you've been working with already, right? Smart Staker and others. We have a completely unique and a world first as an NFT that pays rewards, right? It gives you rewards for basically for owning it. And being the first in that field was very, very important to us. We really worked very hard to bring something that the community wanted. You asked for it, and we brought it for you. We gave it to you. And the reason we did it is obviously because who is, as a project, who is successful without a good community, right? And so, we looked at the landscape, we looked at what was potentially missing, put ourselves in your shoes, and we said, well, if I'm out there and I'm looking around, what do I want to do? How would I want it to work? And then we actually spoke to some of you, and I'm sure we've had many, many conversations with you. And the overwhelming majority wanted something like that. So there it is. Under our existing license and under supervision of the central bank, we already have permission to license to sell that product, right? And as a matter of fact, it's the first license we got, and it's actually a licensed NFT that pays rewards. So, put that in the category of world firsts again. And it works beautifully. I know that you already know this because I see the numbers. You guys love it and you're using it. And so many smart people jumped in early and got rewarded for that as well. So really, great job, guys. Honestly, really, that was awesome. As far as the tokens go, we do have something to tell you about GNBU, and it's very important. Obviously, of course, we're going to republish that contract, and you're going to be able to vote and make proposals with your GNBU votes, right? And each token will be a vote. I will say very specifically that the price will not be what you see today. When we do move to the centralized exchange, we have bid and ask for all of our tokens. This includes NBU as well, of course. And you will not have any of those things that you see out there with bots and strange sort of trading practices and things like that. What you will have is a very secure platform and a great place to do business. So we're talking about centralized exchange for our assets, right? The tokens that you already know, GNBU and NBU. Obviously the NFTs, Smart Staker and others, right? And then you're going to have all kinds of other things. And I'm making it vague for a reason. Comment below. Tell us what you think is going to be traded on that exchange. And by the way, think about the region, because we have a lot of things going on out here. Huge business, obviously. Collectors, right? Artists. And obviously these can come from all over the world. I'm excited about the local stuff because I know it the best. It's my territory. I know that landscape, but really it includes everything. Okay. So think about everything, which is really cool. And so we're really looking forward to unlocking all of this value. We're really happy that we're able to build something very solid for you on a very strong foundation, right? This is so important these days, looking at what's going on out there. We're extremely pleased to bring you this news. I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you very much. And hope to see you again in the near future. Tell us again, also comment below. What do you think about this format? Did you like it? And do you want to see more of it? Okay. And come and visit us in sunny Bahrain. Maybe when it cools off a little bit. And enjoy your summer. Take care. Bye-bye.